do is we're gonna take a, walk down Second Avenue about 1910. How many of you have ever marched in the homecoming parade or been to the Christmas parade? Any of you do that? Where do you line up before it starts?
Here. Here, for our homecoming parade, we line up at Bicentennial.
Do what?
For the
Bicentennial,
homecoming, we start
right,
at
on Second Avenue, correct? All right, well, go one over, let's see. This is where you line up for the parade. What you see on the bottom is a monitor shot. This is Second Avenue. Right here. Gordon Drive is going this way. Banks Goodell School is over here. What you're looking at here, this is where the trolley car barn was located. It was at the head of Second Avenue. Trolley cars, before they were electrified, they used horse-drawn. They're horse-drawn or drawn by mules. They go all the way down Second Avenue. They go down Grant Street. They go up to Lee and then up to Bank Street, where your parade ends, or sometimes starts. Now today, the school system has their school bus barn here. It's not the same building, but you can see that the property is identical. And that's what, on our little walk, this is what we would see first. So, go back to the one with the guy in the hat, car. Now this one, about 35 years ago, I was in an antique store. I was digging through all these dusty things, and I found this photograph in a little wooden frame. Lady said, well, I'll take $5 for it. I said, well, where was it taken? She said, I'm not sure, but I think it was taken in Decatur. All right, great, that's worth $5. So I took it back with me. Now, in those days, there wasn't any internet. There wasn't any of the technology that you guys take for granted now. And I was working as a young reporter at the newspaper. And I wanted to know, well, what about this photo? Where was it taken? And also, when was it taken? So I want you guys to look at it for a few seconds and tell me what in the photo will tell you where and when. There's clues all in it that'll tell you the exact location as well as the year it was made. Yeah?
Is it downtown Decatur?
Downtown. That's correct. It's downtown. Well, where? See, that's the problem, right? You see, before Google Earth, I love Google Earth Pro because I have to walk with this stick a lot, and it's hard for me to get around like I used to. But back when I first got this photo, there was no Google Earth, no satellite imagery like that. The only way for me to figure this out was to walk. And a lot of old photos in Decatur are labeled Bank Street. And I came to find out that they weren't taken on Bank Street. And this one, I walked up and down Bank Street. I thought this looked like a church steeple. Looks like a steeple, maybe a little cross on it, right? So I kept looking up and down Bank Street. And First United Methodist, they have a steeple, and I was trying to line it up, but I couldn't get the angle right here. You see how this looks like a triangle in the photo? Well, that's a clue. Where is that angle? And then you have to understand that a lot of buildings in the early 70s were torn down during urban renewal. Where the federal government said, we'll give you money to tear down all your old buildings, and if you don't use it, you lose it. So they thought they were doing the right thing, but we lost a lot of buildings. So there was that going on in the back of my mind. So I walked all the way up and down Bank, I walked up and down Second Avenue, and I did this for several months, trying to figure out where this photo was taken. And I thought, well, Brothers Stores. What was Brothers Stores? Well, it was a grocery store So I went through some old records. And, I found out that it was opened in the 1930s. It was only in business. Let me check here on my notes. Let's see. (1932 to 1938). All right. Well, that's a clue, isn't it? Right? 1932 to 38, Brothers Stores was in business in Decatur, Alabama. So we know the photo was taken between 1932 and 1938. But where was Brothers Stores? Well, I found out it was in what was called the Johnson Building. And we'll talk about that in a little bit with some cool photos of it. The Johnson Building is at the corner. This is 2nd Avenue. And the vehicle, automobile, is on Grant Street. So we're at the corner of 2nd Avenue at Grant Street because that's where Brothers Stores was located, in the Johnson Building. The Johnson Building was Decatur's first skyscraper. It had 4 stories. It only has 2 stories now because the top 2 stories burned. So, all right. So I'm getting closer. Now I know the location where it was taken. I just have to go take the modern photo and line it up. So when you're doing that, you want to look at architectural features. Now remember, we've got this triangle right here. We have to match, right? Okay. And you have this lip coming out of this building. You have these 3 indentations on the columns. So, also, look at the way the fellow's dressed. What about his dress tells you what time of year it is? What color is the hat I'm wearing? It's dark, right? It's a dark color. What color is his hat? It's white. In the spring and summer, the fashion at the time, gentlemen wore white hats. So we know it's spring or summer now, sometime between 1932 and 1938. We're getting closer. Well, Wesson, under magnification, came to find out that Brothers Stores was a big dealer in Wesson oil, which you use for cooking. Now, you go to the grocery today, you buy cooking oil, you know, canola and all that, right? This guy's a Wesson oil salesman. He's coming to take orders from Brothers Stores. So we're getting closer. So I thought, okay, well, what kind of car is this? If you look under magnification, you can't tell here, but the tires look almost brand new on it. Bless you. And so what I did was, I called several people till I found an antique car buff, an expert. I said, look at this car and tell me what it is. He said, oh, that's a 1933 or 1934 Chevrolet. Oh, okay. He said he'd seen a few of them. And you know, if you see how the fenders are flared, they kind of flare out. Well, they only did that in 1935. So that's a 1935 car. It came with a 6-cylinder engine and it would go 70 miles per hour, which was very fast for the time. It was a real nice car. Okay, so we know the car is a 1935. We know the store was in business between 32 and 38. So we've narrowed it down to what? What years? 1935 to 1938. So now we're down to a 3-year period where the photo could have been made. Now, this ESS, NG exclamation, and if you look close, NCESS. Now, what indicator has that as part of its word? Princess Theater. This is a Princess Theater sandwich board. They would put sandwich boards to tell you what was playing, get you to come pay your nickel or whatever. But Princess Theater, okay, now playing But what is ESS? Well, I went through, remember there's no internet. I can't look this stuff up just by typing into Google. So I had to go to the Princess, and then I had to go into their archives and go by hand. Looking at everything that ever played at the Princess Theater, and thank goodness they have wonderful records. Go ahead and go to the next one, Addie. What I found out, Reckless was the movie that was playing. Gene Harlow, William Powell, big stars of the day. So there's your ESS, and it's the only movie that played at the Princess Theater with ESS in the title of it. Aha, so now we're getting closer. So what I found out was Reckless, it only played for 2 days in 1935, June 17th and June 18th. So now we've narrowed it down even further, haven't we? We know the photo was probably taken on June 17th or June 18th. Sometime in the month of June, 1935, because of the evidence. Go to the next one, please. And there you go. And that's the modern shot of it. Of course, the sidewalk right in here has been changed, but you see the lip of the building here and right there. It's still there. The windows here, this space, these have been taken out and covered up, and the awning covers some of it. But what about our angle? There it is, right there. This was a coal chimney, and what looks like a cross on it was a metal cross piece that would flap to keep the rain out. So when the smoke was coming out, it would open, and when it wasn't, it would close. So that's what it is. So that, it took me several months to figure this out. Even though I went by it all the time, I didn't realize that was where the photo was taken. So that's how you can look in these old photos, and if you look in the background, well, who took the photo? There was a lady named Modell Davis. And Modell, she ran Crump Camera Shop on Bank Street. And she's been dead for probably 20 years now. But I befriended her when I was a small child up in the 60s. And I showed her this photo. She said, oh, that's the Harris building. Old man Harris had a photography shop right behind this man's head. Today is where Strayer University has an office. That was a Kodak camera shop at the time. Harris is most likely the man who took this photo. We have more photos of this intersection from that time period than any other indicator. And the reason is, I'll show you in a minute, because old man Harris would just walk outside his door, take a picture. And that's evidently he saw this Wesson oil salesman, says, hey, he crosses 2nd Avenue and crosses Grant Street, stands on the side here, took his picture. So that's the story. For $5, I got all that history out of that photo, and I didn't know a thing about it. Go ahead and go to the next one, if you would, please. So I think that's pretty cool. Now this is a real common postcard photo. And once again, okay, when was it taken? Where was it taken? So on and so forth. We've been through that. And of course, there's clues. And you want to look at the length of the lady's dresses. Also, sport coats. See how the men are wearing sport coats? Sport coats, I've got one on. Sport coats did not become the fashion until about 1890. And that's when they started getting popular. So we know it's 1890 or afterwards. The dresses, they're almost showing some ankle. Now that doesn't seem like anything to us today, but it indicates the time period as women's fashions became more revealing, as they would say. Also, the trolley cars are being pulled by horses. Now, trolley was electrified in, right before 1900. Now, look at the building. You see, the building that we saw in the previous photo isn't here. The Johnson Building, Decatur's first skyscraper, was 4 stories. At the time this photo was taken, this was still the town orchard, and this was called New Decatur. Decatur's unique. We've got 2 downtowns. There's Bank Street for Old Decatur, and then in the 1880s, New Decatur was formed. Primarily, you had a lot of people with money from the north who decided to develop this into New Decatur. In 1916, it became Albany, and then, of course, in 1927, they finally consolidated, and it all became one town. But Decatur's unique that we have 2 downtown districts, 2nd Avenue and Bank Street. Okay, so the Johnson Building's not there, so we know by 1898 it was there. So this is before 1898. Now this building, you see these architectural features? Go to the next slide if you would, please. This is a colorized version of the same scene. I made it a little bit smaller so you can kind of see some of the details I'm talking about. All right, next one. There it is. It's right outside Old Man Harris's Kodak camera shop. He literally walked out the door and most likely snapped this photo of everyday life going on. Now for 70 years, up until the mid-90s, this photo was mislabeled as street scene on Bank Street, trolley cars on Bank Street, and the one that we just went before, go back to it real quick, Addie. Street scene, the Decaturs. And you notice Decatur is plural, it has an S on it. That's because there were 2 Decaturs. New Decatur, where this photo was taken, and Old Decatur, Bank Street. Next one, please.
Attention please, teachers and students, please transition to session 2 now. Again, please transition
all
to
the time?
session 2 now. Thank you.
Well, I was gonna keep you on walking down the street with me, show you what's going on, but that gives you a little bit. So when you see it on photo, don't look at just the main thing if the photo is up.